Oh yeah, yesterday I revisited an old photo of mine, which was this scene from Lisbon, Portugal. And I did another version of this. The previous version I had, if you compare these two, besides the color being a bit different, the right one here doesn't have a bridge in the background. So I edited this one out for the first version. I posted this on Instagram and then took it down again. Yeah, I think I prefer this version now. And the reason being, not because it looks better necessarily, because I do think that this one has a very nice abstract thing going on with the three slices, and it's very clear, the composition isn't distracting, whereas this bridge is kind of distracting in my eye. But what I prefer about this is that it feels more authentic to me. Because I was talking to a friend and I showed him the previous version, and he asked me if it was real, and that kind of made things click for me because I realized maybe this does look a bit fake. And I want to create authentic work. And I also prefer the new colors of this because I like this cool green grass a lot more than this yellowish, brownish grass. I have a couple more images from this same scene. And what I wanted to do next was just to create some collages with this. So I cut out all these green parts here, threw away the rest, brought it into Photoshop. So this is what I came up with, where I duplicated some of the gardeners, added some greenery to the corners, and tried to create this abstract looking collage. I used some really simple collage techniques for this, you know, cutting out, masking, fading some stuff in, using some generative fill to just fill in some of the overlapping corners. I also created this one where I tried to create more of a vanishing point in the center and have one of the gardeners come out of it and the other one going towards it. I like this one a lot as well, and I'm still working on a third and fourth one. So I have this one which is still a bit rough, working on this right now. By the way, can you see this plant right here? This is my only plant and it really doesn't want to stay alive. So I'm not really doing as good of a job as these gardeners. Some of you might be asking yourselves, wait, didn't you just say that you want these photographs to look as authentic and as real as possible? And yes, I did say that, but there's a huge difference for me between creating this intentionally fake looking collage and editing a photo to a point where I'm removing major objects from the scene. It's a whole different thing. For me, this isn't really a photograph anymore. It's just an abstract art piece. Something else entirely. I have this book here. I got this as a gift from my mom, which has classical music recommendations for each day of the year. And today's recommendation, or actually no, yesterday's recommendation was Notturno by a Croatian composer called Blagoje Bersa, which I never heard of. I've never heard of that guy. And I was listening to this yesterday while I was creating these collages, and it was pretty good. You know what I really need is some stools to put around these tables here. Unfortunately, my feeling is that you can't really beat IKEA for this sort of stuff. I think I saw their classic stool for about 15 euros per stool, which is insanely cheap. There was another stool I saw in a concept store in Vienna, and I really like the design of that one, but I think it was super expensive. So it's this bad boy right here. Super simple, but it costs 260 euros. So more than 10 times the amount. So yeah, I think it's gonna be the IKEA one.
I was glad about getting outside because this fall in Vienna has been surprisingly sunny. In general, I'd say the vibe the city currently has is phenomenal. The grumpy Viennese people just seem happy. Saying a chair is made out of Swiss wood makes it feel way more premium, even though the tree has absolutely no clue what country it's in. Anyways, I went to IKEA and picked up 6 of these. The trees used to make these stools were from Lithuania, I believe. I swear all of these plants were afraid of me. They were afraid to meet the same fate as my trusty plant at home. So I resisted the urge to pick one of them up and headed back.
Okay, I have 6 of these now, and I want to just build and assemble one and see how it looks. And if it looks really bad, then I can just return the others. Let's see if I can get the sticker off. This never works. Okay, it didn't work. Okay, quick Beethoven break. I can never get this passage right, but I'll give it my best shot. Build up. Nope. Okay, so every every time my brother comes to this apartment, he points out that my walls are way too empty and I need to put some artwork on my walls. I mean, he does kind of have a point. This wall is empty. Actually, every wall is empty. There's just nothing going on. And I always say I like the minimalistic look, but there is something to be said about this, and I'm willing to try out one thing to see if I like it, and that's printing out a lot of my old photos and just arranging them in an interesting way. And I want to try this in a style that's been inspired by some of the photo exhibitions I've been to in the past. There was one by Wolfgang Tillmann, I think his name is. He had a really cool way of arranging his photos for an exhibition. Alright, so I printed out some photos. By the way, while I do love my printer, it really doesn't know how to handle black and white. This is what black and white looks like if I don't make any adjustments to the colors in the print settings. So it's really blue. I tried a couple different iterations and noted what settings I used until I got a really nice clean black and white look. But it took some time. I also found some old Polaroids I'm going to use just to have a lot of variety when it comes to image sizes.
This process was fairly quick and I enjoyed it a lot because in a way arranging photos like this is very similar to graphic design. You know, creating interesting proportions, creating contrast, etc, etc. While hanging up the first photos, my mindset shifted from seeing this as decoration to viewing it as creating a sort of mini gallery in my home. The idea is that photos will change every couple of months, so when people come over there's always something new to look at.
I'm very low committal when it comes to interior decoration. I want to be able to switch things up constantly, so that means I'm just using Scotch tape to fixate this on the wall. Having shelves that are on the wall, don't like that. I want to have them standing on the floor so I can just move them around whenever I want. This wall is starting to look pretty good. I decided to align all of these images on an axis on the top here. So in combination with the criticism of my blank walls, my brother also gifted me a poster from my favorite TV show ever, Avatar: The Last Airbender, so I'm gonna hang this somewhere.
I've been eating pizza way too often lately, but my culinary imagination is apparently limited to anything that involves mozzarella, tomatoes, and bread. I did add some arugula though.
To make this a bit more official, I created this name sheet for all the photos. Yo. No.